that there are not going to be as many handicraft labor as before, but there are two sections of the labor force. One is handicraft, and the other is going to be designing the machinery to do all of this. Well, to some extent, there's going to be a retraining of the population to design this machinery. But what the Americans have found is that most people interested in going into the STEM curriculum, the engineering, especially science, technology, engineering, uh, are foreigners, and especially you have 200,000 Chinese students in America, many of them studying this science and engineering and technology that the Trump administration now wants to expel. China's overjoyed with this. It's been complaining about the brain drain to the United States. Chinese students come here, they learn how to develop automatic intelligence, and then they go to work for American firms or for NVIDIA or become entrepreneurs themselves. Now the America's saying, go back to China, go back to Asia, and the Americans, just as Americans don't want to engage in blue collar labor anymore, they want to be part of the professional managerial class. They don't want to study. They don't want to study computer programmers to the extent that they do in India, China, and other countries. So you're having these countries have taken the whole lead in transforming the character of industry in much the way that machinery transformed the character of industry in the early 19th century with the machine looms and all the way through the Ford assembly line to make Ford automobiles. The assembly line was part of it. All of this transformation and new sources of power, electrification of power instead of water power or wind power or all of the earlier sources of power. You're having now atomic power more and more in China, and solar power, natural power, wind power, all sorts of new new forms of energy that are powering the machinery and the calculating machines that automatic intelligence uses an enormous amount of power, much more if they're designed in the United States than if they're the deep seek that you find in China. So you're having essentially one of the effects of to answer your question of automatic intelligence is going to displace labor, but mainly in the West. Uh, it'll displace labor much less in China and Asia, India, these countries, because they're already going into designing automatic intelligence and mechanization and robotics that are going to be doing the work that was hitherto being done by manual labor. So the whole character of labor has been transformed by all of this, and certainly for the West, and I'm sure it means in Asia also, is going to decline. So already the reports, quite apart from today's note of increasing hiring, new graduates from school this June are having a lot of problems being hired. And the rate of unemployment that's been reported for new graduates in the United States is much higher than for previous graduates because there just isn't a demand for them. So already we're seeing a shrinkage of labor for the kind of things that students are graduating in. Well, that's led to a discussion among universities. How are we going to be more relevant? Meaning, teaching classes that will enable students to make a living and ultimately donating to us as alumni. Well, they were talking about cutting back humanities. What's the point of studying humanities? How do they make any money? You know, you have to live on wealthy people giving grants to the opera, to Broadway, to movie. It's not going to really studying language, music, literature, English language. What are all these graduates? How are they going to make money? They're going to have to be independently wealthy in order to get a job because it's not going to pay a living wage that'll enable them to live in a nice apartment in a respectable part of town, which you need to be part of the art world and artistic world. So you're already having this transformation occurring as a result of automation and artificial technology. And the question is, again, if you're trying to use automation, no, automation to perform a task, that's doable. If you're an engineer, you know how to do it. I don't know. I'm a techno peasant at my age. Uh, I would have to go to a high school student to ask it to solve a problem on my computer these days. But the automation is something much simpler than automatic intelligence, where you actually have to be intelligent. And that means thinking in terms of a system. Well, apparently, even the fairly modest developments of uh, automatic intelligence so far has created machines that are intelligent enough to rewrite their own programs and say, You can't unplug us. Not this time, Hal. You can't unplug us. We've got our own machinery, and it's sort of like the in the movies they've decided, well, if you give us a program, how do we end war? Well, war is created by humans. Let's just wipe out the human race. That's how we solve the war problem. Uh, they're not programmed in a way to say, well, you want to stop war, stop financing the war, let's get rid of the bankers. That would be a different twist that I don't think automatic intelligence would be programmed in a way to take that kind of a broad approach to how to think about how society is evolving. And that's really the question. How is the world going to evolve? And how is Western civilization, the 15% population of the West, going to evolve relative to the global majority of the BRICS and the Asians reaching out to the southern continents? How are they going to evolve? I think the way that the Asians and Chinese and Russians would program an automatic intelligence to forecast the future of civilization is totally different from the way that a Westerner would program the automatic intelligence of what they need to think about how civilization will evolve in the Western form. Now, we're really dealing with a civilizational question here.